my third video blog, and once again I'm here on the balcony. I don't have any makeup on. I just took a shower and I'm in my pajamas and just here recording all of this. It's really quiet outside today. Usually there's more cars going back and forth and dogs barking and people walking, but maybe it's just late. Maybe I'm just recording this real late, but oh well. I'm still feeling sick, but hopefully some kind of miracle happens. Again, like I say in all my past video chats to myself, maybe it'll just help if I just say whatever is on my mind. Let's see. I didn't really do that much today. I went out. I took a tricycle, they call it here. It's like a motorcycle with a like little seating area that's attached to the motorcycle and you go inside of it. I took one of those someplace really far to go walk around, and I think I was told that the guy ripped me off because he charged me 200 pesos to drive for like 12 minutes. And I think it was only supposed to be like 130, something like that. So, but it's a very common thing, even in my mom's country. You go there, and of course they're going to take advantage of you if you look like you have money, or if you look like you're a foreigner. And I haven't been really trying to blend in here. Maybe in the beginning I was trying to blend in, but not so much anymore. Let's see, I got some food and all of those kinds of things. Things are still really tough, and I don't mean to talk about negative things, but I can't help it because when you're sick, being sick, it really makes me feel like I have to be a realist. And that's the bad thing about being sick, is because it forces you to face reality, And me, I'm not the kind of person who really paid attention to reality. I was always like a daydreamer. I always believed in magic and the mysteries of life, that kind of thing. I never really was a realist until now, because again, when you're sick, and you're kind of on your deathbed, you kind of have to be a realist. You gotta face reality as much as it hurts. So, and today I just did a lot of thinking, more so than anything else. There's a motorcycle. I've just been thinking about literally everything. Strange things, even. Things that I don't think people typically think about. Being sick has totally shifted my thinking. I'm thinking about really deep things, like what the meaning of life is, what the meaning of my life is. And what I came to the conclusion that we as people can choose our meanings to life, but there's also a higher kind of power that also that also has a meaning for us. And I hope that makes sense. So maybe if I explain it a little more. So, us as people, we have different interests, different hobbies, different ways of living, and we all get to, because of who we are, whoever we are, and what's rooted in our soul, into the kind of person who we are. The good thing about life is that we get to create the meaning of what our existence is. So for me, the meaning of my life, when I really think about it, was just to be with the people who I love and make memories with them and enjoy their company and all of those sorts of things. But now that I'm sick, I see it as it being, a kind of fate that you can't change. And that meaning, I believe, is given to us by a higher power, whatever fate we have in store for us. And that's the meaning from whoever, So I like to think of the meaning of life, that there's two meanings. The meaning that we give individually, and the meaning that a higher power gives. So being sick, that's what I've came to conclude. It's funny, for some reason this keeps popping up in my head, but I met a stranger one time, and they told me, life is a game, and you are the prize. And so, ever since I met that stranger who told me that what they said has really stuck in my mind, and that's one other thing that I've been thinking about all day was what this random lady said to me one time. Life is a game and you're the prize. Whatever that means. And I have no idea what that means, especially when some random person tells you that who doesn't even know who you are. But I've had many strange things happen to me in my life that many strange things that I can't even explain. I can't even begin to explain. Because I've told other people stories, about my life, and a lot of people don't believe my stories. So I always keep them to myself. And just over the years, I've really kept to myself. I've isolated myself. I used to have, a long time ago, I used to have like a group of friends. I used to be working, surrounded by friends and family all the time. But in recent years, especially being with my husband and dedicating my whole entire existence to this man, during those times I've really isolated myself because I told my husband, soon to be ex, because we're in the process of getting a divorce. I told him everything. He knows everything about me. I know everything about him. And, I haven't really given it much thought until now, but maybe he's not the one. Maybe he's not the person, the soul that I'm supposed to be with. And like I was explaining in my last video, the only thing I care about is finding true love. That's really the only thing I cared about. Even at a young age, I remember dropping out of school and moving out to start a life with this person, my husband, and dedicating, my life and trying to make it with this guy. And yeah, it hurts. There's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of things that I know about that he probably doesn't even know that I know. But a lot of things happen. We've been together for 11 plus years. And like I was saying, maybe it wasn't real. It hurt, but I'm over it because it took me probably a good 2 years to get over everything, after I found out some things. Anyways, I'm over it. I've processed everything already. Now, the thing is dealing with the sickness that I have. That's the thing. And I've been trying to look for answers of enlightenment to accept my fate. I still keep thinking about this quote that I saw on Twitter, and it said something along the lines of, God has a bigger plan for you than you can even imagine. And something in that really gives me comfort, because I'm a huge spiritualist. I pray, meditate a lot more than the average person, that's for sure. I've been practicing meditation every single day since I was 15 years old. I don't think I've ever skipped a day of meditation. So if I started at 15, I'm 31 years old now. So that's 16 years of meditation. That's a long time. 16 years of meditating and doing all this spiritual stuff. Yeah, I was really dedicated, really committed to finding answers through this, what do you say, how do you call it? Through our subconscious intelligence that we all have. Because when I think about life, I've always thought to myself, it can't just be this, it can't just be this, what you see. There has to be something more than what we see. And knowing that us humans are so blind, I try to always be steps above what everybody else is. So when I observe, I really like observing people. And when I observe people, there's just some things that I realize, and I kind of reflect, and I think to myself, am I like that? Is there some part of me that's blind? And if so, how can I open my eyes and see, to the next level of things? I was always curious in thought, always, even when I was young. Being a big believer in magic, mysteries, the mysteries of life, I always thought that there's something more. Oh, okay. Sorry. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I always thought that there was more to life. Yeah. So I'm just still here. Thinking just thinking, really. really bright today. I don't have my glasses, so I can't really see what shape it is. Looks like a half moon, like a little bit more than half of a moon. But dang, that's bright. It's really bright today. Man, what else? I feel like a lot of this video has just been me venting, which that's what I've been doing with my last couple video blogs that I've been doing. But it really helps clear my mind. And I really encourage other people to video blog, because the thing about it is that you can go back and look at it and really see how your thinking was and what your thought process was. So yeah, I'm here. I kind of miss my dad. I miss him a lot, and I'm really hoping I can make it to do this interview with him. So I'm planning on, having my setup and getting some microphones and footage for my interview with him, because he really is genius. I really look up to my father. He taught me everything at an incredibly young age about chess, what's that called? Philosophy, science, absolutely everything, politics, at like all of these things at like age 4. And me, I always loved to learn. So I always listened to what he had to say, and he's actually an electrical engineer, and my father is an electrical engineer, and my brother is an AI. So I grew up in a very tech environment. So I remember my dad taking me to work with him, during those take your child to work days. And I remember just seeing all of these chips and technology and equipment, and he would just be explaining to me, what all of them do, and all of those kinds of things. I got to see what a soldering board looks like, and all the different kinds of chips and wires that go into making these boards. So I find it so fascinating. Even though I'm terrible with technology and AI, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a really fast learner, but there's just something about the tech world that I'm very slow at learning. Like, tell me to learn anything, I can learn it. How to do woodworking, for instance. Like, teach me that. I will literally learn everything in like a heartbeat. But when it comes to the things that my dad does or my brother does, those things take a little bit more time for me to learn. And I tried learning, some things in AI. But I guess all it is really is just coding and knowing how to work coding programs and all of those kinds of things. And I guess I'm not really that interested in those things. I'm interested in like the final result of certain projects and AI and all those kinds of things. But when it comes to like the work that's put into it, like coding, for instance, I don't know. So, but again, it's all really fascinating. And for some reason, I'm thinking about it right now. Yeah, I miss my dad. I miss him a lot. The reason I admire my dad so much is because he started from nothing. He was literally raised in a dirt home. Like, if you've ever watched 90 Day Fiancé with Ed and Rose, and you see her living condition, Rose's living condition from the Philippines, that kind of environment is the kind of environment that my dad grew up in. And so, yeah, he went from that to to being a multi-millionaire, basically. So I really admire him because he's smart, very smart, and good memories with my dad. I placed up a picture on my Twitter of me playing chess with him. I think I was about 7 years old in that picture. But I remember him teaching me chess, and he always would let me win. And in the back of my mind, I would get so upset. I would be thinking, wait, but this is my dad. He's more older than me, and he knows what he's doing. So why is it that I keep winning every game? And so I remember I'd get so mad, me being 7 years old or 6 years old. And I'd go, Dad, but don't let me win. Why do you keep letting me win? Don't let me win. So, and the reason I'd say that is because when I lose, I learn something new. So when you let other people win, you're never going to learn anything, because when you're constantly winning, obviously you're not going to learn anything. And so I don't want to be, I knew that I didn't want to be so blindsided. Otherwise, what's the point of playing chess if you're not going to get better at it? So since that day, my dad was like, okay, I won't let you win. Years later, when I was about I think this was a couple years ago. How old was I? I think I was 28. I was playing my dad at a game of chess, and I almost won. But I remember that day, and my dad was actually like super impressed, because my dad is like a chess master. He's super good at chess. Every game that he plays with one of my uncles or whatever, he always wins. So, but then again, I don't know. Maybe my dad was letting me win, or almost let me win. I don't know. Anyways, good memories with my dad. Really good memories. Yeah. I wouldn't be the person who I am today without my father. That is for sure. Let's see what else. What else is in my mind? For some reason, I'm thinking about my next life, as I mentioned in my last video. I don't think I'm going to post it up though. For some reason, I'm just thinking about my next life for random reasons. I like to be Italian or Arabic, or maybe both. Both would be cool. But like I was saying, I really like myself now, even though for a long time I really didn't like myself. And like I was saying in my last video, it's because people make you not like yourself. You know, when you grow up and you constantly hear negative things about you and people critiquing your every goddamn fucking move. It's like, how can you like yourself, you know? I remember being teased really badly when I was in middle school. And it was bad. It was really bad. But I forgave all those people because, you know, when I got older, I realized, oh shit, you know, I got to see how their parents were with them, and these kids, Jesus Christ, their parents were cruel. Like, and this was when my family moved to a richer area, because we grew up in a very we grew up in kind of in poverty. But when my dad got a better job, we moved to this really nice area, you know, that's way more expensive than where we were living before. And in my old school, you know, there was so much diversity. The kids there were more free, more accepting, more real. You know, there was no really standards, or there was no pressure for these kids to be perfect. And then I moved to this fancy neighborhood, and there was nothing but white kids there, dude. I was like one of the few ethnic people in my school. So that's already like an easy target, you know, being in a school with just all of these white kids who had a lot of money. I remember their parents buying them these expensive clothes from Abercrombie and Fitch. And, you know, it was a trend to wear like Ugg boots, you know, real Ugg boots with things from Abercrombie and Fitch and Victoria's Secret and all that shit. And because we just moved, you know, my dad didn't have that much money yet, and I had to wear my clothes secondhand. So, you know, I went to school. I went to this school where everybody was so high fashion, so perfect, had the perfect grades, you know, was wearing the perfect clothes, all these whiteys. And then here was me with my high knee socks and you know, rubber shoes, gym shoes, nerdy outfit going on, you know, and my glasses. And man, just compared to everybody else, I stood out like a sore thumb. But yeah, now that, you know, doing all this looking back stuff and really analyzing everything, I got to see firsthand how these kids' parents were towards them. And, you know, they were nothing like my parents. My parents were super supportive, especially my father, you know. And when I saw, you know, how these parents treated these kids, it was just a bombardment of, you know, of expectations. You know, these parents had super ridiculously high expectations for their children. And now that I look back at it, I kind of feel bad, actually, because here I was living in this fairy tale growing up. You know, I had the perfect family. I had, you know, I had everything that mattered. So, what I can conclude is that really the way that you're raised really shapes you in what you do and the person you become in this world, you know. But yeah. What else? I was listening to Bad Bunny's remix of Monaco, and I actually really like it. Um, you know, usually uh, when artists do, you know, a remix or a remake of a oldie song, to me it doesn't really sound that good. But this one by Bad Bunny, Monaco, actually sounds really good. I've been enjoying it. I mean, it drags on a little bit for me, and there could have been a little bit more stuff, but there could have been a little bit more things placed in it to make it sound, you know, like crisp, like perfect. But other than that, I really enjoyed it, and like how he took the tone of the original soundtrack down a notch. I thought that was brilliant. I think it sounds so good, so incredible. But I didn't realize it until like a week after listening to it that there's a Beatles reference in there of John Lennon. So I was just curious. I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna look at the lyrics to this song. And to be honest, I totally dislike the meaning of the song, but the only thing I like about it is the John Lennon reference. I thought that was pretty cool because I didn't even expect someone like Bad Bunny to reference John Lennon. And the beat is totally sick. Really love it. But yeah, that's a song I've been listening to for like the last week. It has those Italian kind of vibes. I believe the song is originally, the original song is French, but Monaco is a place in Italy, I believe. Anyways, I don't want to get too technical. It's a good song. Oh, and another song that I'm planning on listening to, which I already listened to so much already, is If You Leave Me Now by Chicago. Ooh, that is one of my favorite songs of all time. And Bob Seger's We Got Tonight. Oof, so good. Just so good. But I think I'm just gonna end this video blog and just listen to those two songs by Chicago and Bob Seger. I'm really a huge fanatic of oldies songs. I think there's just an element of like, it just makes you feel alive when you listen to oldies music, especially like 70s, 60s music. There's just something about it that you can never find in today's music. So yeah, I think I will end it here, and I guess that's all I have to say for today.